there's a ball like in a glass box, and you go, what's that? And they go, oh, the dear leader came here. He'd never played golf before, and guess what? I go, I think I know. Did he get 9 holes in one? And they go, yes, he did, like that.
Tell me about some of your travel journeys. I mean, you must have been to some incredible places. Seen some mad stuff. What's one or two, crazy stories that spring to mind?
Well, my first book, Dark Tourist, I went on holidays to places you wouldn't normally go on holiday to. So I went on a package tour of North Korea, a coach trip around North Korea.
On your own?
No, the only people that can go into North Korea are government-approved tourists, and the only people that want to go to North Korea are kind of really hardened travellers who want to kind of tick it off because it's not a nice place, but it's fascinating. And so you end up with 30 very independent travellers whose idea of hell is a coach trip on a coach, being driven around North Korea and on this what should be the world's dullest tour. Like the first day we went to the Museum of Agricultural Scythes and Lathes, followed by a visit to the dear leader's mother's tomb. But because you're in North Korea, it's just amazing. Everything about it is totally weird. You go to a golf course, there's a 9-hole golf course in the middle of Pyongyang. You turn up and there's a ball like in a glass box, and you go, what's that? And they go, oh, the dear leader came here. He'd never played golf before, and guess what? I go, I think I know. Did he get 9 holes in one? And they go, yes, he did, like that. And you're like, for fuck's sake. So it's just like this it's like this massive cult place. And I suppose what I like about travel is in the old days, my mum always used to say to me, we're not tourists, we're travellers. Like travel was about going somewhere to really push your comfort zones to get something different. And now, like the world's so homogenized, like almost everywhere you go, there's a Starbucks 100 meters away. It's very difficult to really get out of it unless you go to these places that are either run by awful dictators or there is a war on. And so that's what I did. So I went to North Korea, I went to Chernobyl for the weekend, which was interesting. I went skiing in Iran. I saw a picture of a woman in full chador skiing. And I said, where's that? And someone said, that's Iran. So I went to Tehran and then went up, and it was amazing. Like they have a big fence up the middle, women skiing on one side, men on the other. But then when you get to the top, everyone's just mixing and having fun. I go, how come up there? And they go, mullahs don't snowboard. So all the mullahs are at the bottom. So they had a great, so Iran was amazing. I went to Cambodia. I ended up at a war crimes trial in Phnom Penh, which was just extraordinary. I was reading about this guy called Dooch, who was like one of the worst people in the Khmer Rouge, and he used to smash babies' heads against the wall and stuff.
I thought you meant you were being prosecuted.
No, I was not being prosecuted, no.
In a war crimes trial.
But anyway, I blagged my way into a war crimes trial, which was really weird. And that was one of the weirdest moments I've ever seen, because this guy, I'd read a book about him weirdly before I'd been to Cambodia. And then as I got there, I found out that he was on trial, and I made a press card and I got into the war crimes trial. Well, actually I got in, then they booted me out because I was wearing shorts. So I'd blagged my way in, and then I couldn't get in because I was wearing shorts. So I had to go outside and take a Cambodian guard, buy a Cambodian guard's trousers. And he was about a fifth the size of me. So I was sort of squeezing them on. But anyway, I went in. But what was amazing about it is this guy, he was part of the Khmer Rouge that ran Cambodia and basically took the place back to the Stone Age. They killed over 2 million people. They killed all the intellectuals. And this particular guy, I've never read more disgusting things this guy had done. He'd picked up babies and smashed them against a wall. He'd like shot families. I mean, just an appalling human being. And he'd been caught and he was being put in this war crime. So you go in there and you think you're going to see this utter monster like ogre. And then there's this guy just sitting there, and he just looks like an accountant, like a really, really dull man. And there's a guy called Adolf Eichmann who was a Nazi who escaped to Argentina, and the Israelis kidnapped him and brought him back to Tel Aviv to trial. And he again looked like an accountant. And there was a phrase, the banality of evil, which is incredible, because you kind of assume these people are monsters. And then you look at them, you think, no, these are just dull motherfuckers like any of us. That was an incredible thing to do.